Okay, so do you remember they said that something terrible happened in the 40 litre? You might be noticing slightly something different within this tank. The male rosy barb is dead. And that was my favourite fish. So I'll explain what happened and stuff. So first of all, I came downstairs and I noticed that it was slightly swimming like this. I was thinking, he might be okay. Then he was like this, constantly. I was like, this isn't looking good. So I'd done a bit of research, and most of it said about like clove oil and stuff, which I already knew, but obviously I can't get that stuff now, considering we're stuck inside. So I done what it said I should do by raising him to the top of the tank, which what I use is the net. I then kept him in the net, and then because he got really bad, then I put him in the net, and then his breathing was starting to pick up a little bit, which was good. It was starting to get better, and then I put him back in, and he was fine. He was still a bit like this. So if he was no longer at the bottom, he was at the top. So I was thinking, okay, this is a good sign. He started going to the bottom again, so I picked him up with the net. Then it says to hold him within the tank with your actual hand, but keep him straight rather than bent like that. So I kept him straight in my hands, and he was doing great. I put him in there, swimming kind of almost 100% fine. He was slightly like that, but he looks as if he damaged his sides. But I knew when I thought I have to do something rather than just leave him there. I thought, oh, this isn't looking good. He's probably not going to survive. But I thought, I'm not taking no chances. I want to try and at least help. So with him up in the net, and then once I released him, he was kind of swimming. This is all like in like 4 or 5 hours of just constant waiting and hoping. Right, going back a bit now. When he wasn't doing very well, he was constantly behind everything and stuff. So when I put him in the net, he done a lot better. Because you got to keep him moving, yet at the same time you don't want him to be moving that much. You also want to reduce the flow from the tank, because that's like constantly making him move. And the reason why I put him in the net, it relieves pressure off of it. And when you obviously relieve pressure on it, that's good because he's put on so much pressure onto it. So anyway, I put him back in for the second or third time, and then he was doing just perfect. A little bit like that, like I've already mentioned, but he was doing really well. He was at the top of the tank, acting like nothing happened. But then, after that, he got stuck behind the filter. And I was like, this is not good. This is not good at all. And he can control where he was swimming. He was still doing good, but he wasn't good enough. Like, he's not as good as all the other fish. I got him out, and he was doing okay. Not very good, actually. Scales were missing, fins were all bent. I was thinking, this is just terrible. It was my favourite fish, and I never really thought of it until he was really gone. Because I always thought, oh, it's just a fish. Well, I never think that, but like, I thought it wasn't my favourite fish, but when he was dead, I suddenly realised, oh. So yeah, I know a lot of people would just think it's a fish, but that's still like a thing that's alive, if you know what I mean. Especially when you're like attached to it. That was the oldest fish, but it wasn't old enough. They're supposed to last 5 years. He lasted 3, which is the same as the other 2, which is very weird. But anyway, he got stuck behind the filter, and then he wasn't moving at all. I took him back in the net, and he was all bent, like really bent, and he would not move one bit, and his breathing was like really slow. I was thinking, this is really not good. I thought, I don't want to stress him out too much, so I thought I'm going to release him back to the aquarium, because it did say, and I did do that, I did leave him for a bit, like 3 or 4 hours, no 3 hours, and then put him back in the net. And it was just constant, like, hoping he would be okay. But I knew when he got stuck behind the filter, he came out, he was not in good at all. He was floating right on the top, not like having movement like how he was before. So I thought, I'm going to try and keep him straight again. And that corrected it a little bit, but then he just got really bad again. I was like, there's no chance of me saving him. And I'm just going to do more stress on him and potentially kill him even more. Well, have higher chance of killing him. So I thought, I'm just going to let him float on the top. And all the fish was picking on him, more the rosy bar, but that's what they do. When they know that a fish is weak, they tend to peck on it. That little one didn't though. That one there, the little colour white minnow. And within 30 minutes or so, I kept on checking up on him, putting him on the net just a little bit. In about 30 minutes or 35 minutes, he was dead. And that hurt. Because he's like the oldest fish, he's the one that I kind of bonded with the most. Well, you know what I mean, like played with and stuff. But, so technically he was doing great until he got behind the filter. He didn't get in the filter this time. He got actually in the back there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Behind that. Which tends to happen, but he's quite a big fish, so normally they just swim out. He was too big to swim out. And my mum was upstairs, so I couldn't pull out the filter. Eventually he found his way out, but he, you know. I was not expecting this to happen. I've noticed for a couple of days he's been a bit off. Like, not as colourful and dark. But I never thought anything of it, because sometimes he does go a bit funny. But, you know. It's a part of having pets, though, and fish and stuff. It always happens to them. And that's just something that you have to deal with. It's part of the hobby, a lot of people like to say. Part of it's getting them, feeding them and stuff like that, and then the other part is them not making it. But I actually thought he was going to do okay once I started helping him, having him in my hand, and he was doing quite well. Probably did do a little bit of damage to a slime coat, but they said that's going to happen. They say just don't worry about that. Because I know for a fact the slime coat grows back. You just have to do lots of water changes, and I was prepared to just do water changes as soon as it was all done, but obviously I don't need to do that no more. All the other fish were a bit worrying, like, not worrying, but like wondering what was happening. She was the most. Where is she? Oh, she's gone. No. She would not leave him alone, but when he was floating on the top, he just didn't look good. Oh look, the shrimp's out. See him in the plant there? But yeah, he was floating, and I just thought, right, this is it. So I released him in, and I was like, I'm just going to leave him. As I was finishing off my schoolwork, and I came back, and yeah. So he's outside right now. And obviously I'm not going to show you guys that. But I had him in the hand, on, like, kind of like rubbed where it was, because it was on the sides, I could tell that. Because he was like rocketed on his sides like that. So I could tell that was actually how it was injured, and I don't know how he done it though. Because he might have jumped. They don't tend to jump. It wasn't swim bladder disease though, I can tell that. It was just an injury because he was missing scales. So he maybe jumped on that, got caught in the barrel or something. I don't know, maybe he even got stuck in the filter actually. He was missing scales and fins and stuff, and his fins was all bent. But this is just part of it, I guess. But everyone else is doing great. Shall I give you a quick update on these guys? They're actually having a clean layer. There's the water. But yeah, they're really doing great. So yeah, I don't know what to say, but I noticed when I was saying that he was okay, I actually noticed that he wasn't very well. That's when I started noticing it. He's been fine for, well, most of this week. It's only like 2 days ago that I noticed he was starting to go a bit funny, but he goes like that quite a bit. Because sometimes his swimming's a bit off, and I don't understand why. I just leave him, and he gets fine straight after it. but this time he obviously didn't, and yeah. So this is what it was like. After I held him in the tank, he was like that, like this, and it was constantly going like this, but then it would go down. And that was what the worrying part was, because you got to keep him moving, but when I noticed that his breathing was slowing down, I was like, right, let's just leave him there. I think this is everything I wanted to say. I mean, I can't really think of what to say, but I am going to get another one. I do need to get 2 gold cloud white minnows for this tank. I've got to film the video for Monday, because obviously I've got to start the schedule on Monday. But I'll film that on Sunday. It's just crazy. But it's always a good thing when something bad happens, and the good thing is that this is going ahead, all the plans. Bad thing was me losing him. But that just happens, doesn't it? The cloud white minnows are so much more since I moved that down here, though. I know that was the right decision. But this tank is already a bit green. You can see all the water actually, because he was splashing a lot. Like all those marks on the plastic there. I'll have to get rid of that. Look at the cloud white minnow showing off all his fins. But yeah, that leaves us with 3 fish in a 40 litre. So I need to get 2 gold cloud white minnows and a rosy barb and something else which we're not talking about, because that will be part of the video on Monday. I just can't wait. I've been waiting for it for so long. Okay, that's the end of the video. Just wanted to explain what happened, and I have to share these things because I know a lot of people that don't, and you've got to. Okay, that's the end of the video.